I remember the day I got my report card, my fourth grade report card. And there they were, the whole bunch of them. 6 A's. Yeah, I was capable of getting an A in gym in fourth grade. And it meant a lot to me. A lot. Not to mention that glow that it seemed to put on the collective faces of my parents. And I promised myself right then and there that I would do everything I could to keep that glow alive. Not just for myself, but for my parents too. So I guess you could say I spent a lot of time chasing academic goals. Worrying, taking, worrying, and retaking CTBS, PSAT, PACT, SAT, and ACT tests. Studying my GPA carefully and trying to assess how to take the most inane electives in order to make that number come out as close to a perfect 5 as possible. Come on, we've all played this game, giving thanks for the existence of an academic rather than an all-subject class rank, if gym is our personal nightmare, or thanking the powers that be for the all-subject rank, if we excel in art or music instead of math and science. How about that game of applying to colleges? Well, think about it. Filling out applications until our hands are numb. Writing essays that explain not only the meaning of life as we know it, but why we are among the chosen few who truly understand it. Applying to 10 different schools, pretending to have a first choice, a second choice, and 8 backup schools, when we're really just praying to get into any one of them. And creating accurate lists of high school activities that read more like creative fiction. Why, yes, I was captain of the underwater lacrosse team, but that was only when I wasn't preoccupied by my invention of a pocket-sized nuclear reactor, or devoting my evenings to teaching drama at the local orphanage. I've been so busy trying to achieve and excel. And yes, to be honest, I'm proud of many of my accomplishments, and yes, I've had some fun along the way. But with only 5 days left in my high school career, I've tried to take the time to reflect on my past 4 years here at GBN. And to my surprise, maybe yours too, I've come to see an interesting truth. I don't think the achievements and accomplishments are going to stay with me much past this week. But what will stay a part of me, what I will remember and treasure, are my friends.
I can honestly tell you that I remember a lot of my report cards. Or maybe I just try not to remember them. But there was that one that came in the fall of 5th grade, my first B. Talk about parent reaction. And like Adam, I knew right then and there that making my parents proud, feeling proud of myself, probably wasn't going to come from a string of brilliant report cards. I knew that I had to travel a different road if I was going to find happiness and success. I guess what I've been chasing after all these years is survival. The grades, they aren't really that important at all. Living to talk about them is. You see, I've always been the kind of kid who is picked on for one reason or another. Just consider my name. From 1st grade on, I was constantly asked, "Hey Noah, where's your art?" And admittedly, I brought on a lot of it myself. There were those days when we ran out of brown paper bags at home and my mom had to be creative and think of something else to put my lunch in. She always packed my lunch in an empty Wonder Bread bag. An empty Wonder Bread bag. I mean, imagine the bus ride to school. Or there was that one day I remember in 4th grade when it was cold and snowy outside and we were nearing our recess time. You remember how we all lived for recess. Well, we had that school rule that said if you didn't bring your snow pants, you couldn't go outside and play. So nobody ever forgot their snow pants. except me. So I decided to tell everyone that I was choosing to stay inside because I had a really rare disease that only surfaced when I was exposed to wet snow. I just tried to slide down under my desk and ignore everything around me. But before I could get a comfortable position down there with my elbows in the book slot, I heard over the loudspeaker a device very appropriately named. Noah Weisberg, will you please come to the office? Your mother has brought your snow pants. The humiliation was devastating. But when I crawled down to the office to get my snow pants, there was this kid who was picking up the lunch he had forgotten, but his mother had brought at the last minute. I only noticed it because it was in an empty Wonder Bread bag.
Somehow, by the time we got to high school, Noah and I didn't seem so different. We shared a lot of the same interests, most of the same problems, and all of the same events.
Like theater. Theater has been a big part of our lives here at Glenbrook North. Gosh, I can remember freshman year trying out for Beau Jest, our first high school play. We were so nervous. We were trying to act older just so we would stand a chance against those big seniors, the guys who had already been cast, 100 times. Oh, Jess. It was an incredible experience, though. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember. I remember not making it and watching you from the audience.
Oh.
I didn't try out for another show until the end of my sophomore year.
Hey, that's okay. I mean, since then.
Oh, well, since then everything has been great, like the dances. Remember our senior homecoming? We spent hours on the phone saying there was no way we were going to miss out on our last high school homecoming. We couldn't decide who to ask. Do we go out on a limb? Do we take a risk? Do we play it safe? Anyway, it turned out to be a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. Right. While you were at the dance, I was sitting at Buffalo Joe's, eating a basket of suicide buffalo wings. Yeah, I would have liked to have been there with you.
Well, you are with me a lot of other times, like when we go out to lunch together every day.
Except we always end up having to make excuses as to why we're late to our next class.
Gee, Noah, you'd think Mrs. Moe would start to wonder why your car has transmission problems every day during 11:13.
Well, luckily my transmission didn't fail on the way down to see the boys' Elite 8 basketball game in Champaign last year.
Yeah, we got there just in time for the start of the game wearing Sip the Champagne t-shirts. It was great.
We sat in the nosebleed section. I couldn't see a darn thing.
Talk about not seeing a darn thing. How about freshman year when the power went out 15 times? Pretty annoying after a while.
Annoying? Well, thanks to those blackouts, we had to skip entire chapters in Unified Science. I love that class.
Hey, I learned something this year that I know you'd never learn in a science class.
What's that?
A new way to start a speech. Watch.
Wow, what a talent.
No, seriously, it really comes in handy.
For what?
Well, I use it as a gimmick to attract girls.
What girls?
I never said I was good at it. Hey, I'm no Bob Stromberg. But you have to admit, we have had our share of dates during high school.
Yeah, I guess that's true. We have asked girls to most of the dances.
Most of them said no.
But the ones who said yes, we showed them a good time.
Yeah, we went to dinner and then went to the dance and then we rented out the ice rink for an hour.
I thought we were being pretty original.
Almost as original as trying to find a good parking spot sophomore year when we had to park across the street in the industrial section next to Borden's Soup Factory. I had to find my way through the aroma of French onion soup just to get to school every day.
Yeah, well, parking hasn't gotten any better this year. I mean, most of the time I end up parking near the football fields. I have to take a shuttle bus just to get to 1-4.
Get to 1-4 on time.
Okay, just to show up before the end of class.
But you know what really made the 1-4 classes memorable for me? People sending each other Halloweens or pumpkins on Halloweens and candy canes for the holidays and singing telegrams and carnations for Valentine's Day.
Right. Memorable. I never got any. And you know what? There was always that one girl in the seat right next to me who needed a wheelbarrow to carry all the flowers and gifts from her friends.
That's when we decided that if nobody else would send us anything, we'd send stuff to each other.
I bet you thought only freshman girls did that. You know, I wonder if our friends were a little suspicious when I sent you a cookie for Red Ribbon Day.
Hey.
And maybe that's what I've thought about most in looking back on my 4 years here at GBN. What are friends for? And I guess as I stand here today in front of my entire class, the answer is obvious. Friends are for everything. Nothing is worth it without friends. Friends give us support when we're down, attention when we're lonely, maybe even a swift kick in the rear when we need it. I mean, you know, sure, we fight with them, compete against them, even ignore them at times. But school, life, without them, meaningless. And you know what else? I don't think that I, or any of us, take the time to consider who our friends really are. So Adam and I tried to make a list of the people and places that had really become a part of our lives during high school. The people we saw at school, around town, or maybe just in our own neighborhoods. People we see all the time. We talk with them, joke around, give them a hard time. But they are a part of us. They are our friends. Take them away, the good times and memories they have helped us create. And we're left with very little but our day-to-day routines. But even there, we've been blessed with some very special friendships. Well, I think that Adam and I can both honestly say that when we leave here next week, we leave behind more than just a few people we know as teachers, administrators, and staff members. We leave behind friends.
So, how do we leave all this? How do we say goodbye? Well, I really had to think about this one. You see, I'm so used to hearing advice like, take the time now to say goodbye to the people who mean the most to you. Or, don't forget to say goodbye while you have the chance. Well, I don't think I buy that, the saying goodbye. When I think back on my high school years, I know in my heart that the reason I have achieved what I have achieved and accomplished is due directly to the influence and inspiration of those around me. The smiles and faces that filled this building each and every day. The classroom teachers who have given so much of their time to try to make me see past my own point of view. The activity sponsors who have dedicated countless hours to help me become a little more well-rounded. The administrators who have taken the time to say, hey, good job, or keep up the good work. All of them have made me what I am today, whatever that may be. And all of them I will carry with me in my heart for as long as I live. For they represent not only Northbrook and not only GBN, but me. And you just can't say goodbye to a part of yourself. So with only a few days left until graduation, I look back with awe on my experiences. I'm filled with gratitude and even a kind of sadness that's difficult to explain. I'll miss the games and the dances and the shows and the occasional praise or recognition. But what I will miss the most, what I will cherish always, are my friends. So, how do you say goodbye? You just don't.